my lip is so swollen that I can't smile, and no, it's okay. I can be here as long as I'm not showing my face. I'm supposed to go to this craft fair with my daughters tomorrow, but my face is in bad shape, so I'm not sure that I want to go around and traumatize people. I do want to quickly let's see, out project sheet. Okay, hang on one second. I'm just, my brain is working, believe it or not. It's just, okay, so I need to print these. Let's see here. All right, we're not gonna. Let's see, open them and then I'll print them. So what I want to do is I want to start with the mixed media layout first, because this is going to need to dry, and so we'll want to start on this one, and then while it dries, we'll do the others. So for those of you, how many of you are planning on adding mixed media to your page? Curious. What in the world? All right, there we go. Give me 1 second, because I want to print these so that we can. Print. All right, I'm just going to use the PDF or the digital, just because I don't want to sit here and mess with this. Usually I would have these printed for us ahead of time, but all of the prep work that I was going to do yesterday, I wasn't able to get done because I was stuck in the emergency room. Okay, so I have this piece of white cardstock. You can see it's a little bit warped, but that's all right. I put gesso on it, and it's dry. So this is going to help us with the mixed media part. Now, our paper, we are going to cut down, let's see, I believe we're cutting it down to 11 by 11. So I want to cut this down so that when I put my mixed media on down, I want it to be where it needs to be, and I don't want to have it butted up so close to the edge that I can't. That it's going to look weird. So I just want to cut this down so we're working with the page size that we need to work with. So easy peasy. It is, did I miss some? I wonder if I did. Feels like I may have missed some, which you'll see what happens when you do that. Okay, so I have white gesso on my paper here, and it is dry. And what this does for those of you who don't do a lot of mixed media is that this primes your paper. So when we go to work and start adding water to our background, this is going to allow us to move the color around rather than having the colors seep directly in. I'm going to see if I can actually try and zoom in just a little bit so you guys can get a better view of this. And all right, so I think, all right, I think we should be good. All right, so what I've done for today, you can use whatever ink you've got on hand. You can use ink, you can use watercolor, you can use mist, you can use diluted paint. So whatever you happen to have on hand. What I am going to use are the Lindy's powders that were included in our September color kit. So for those of you that look at those and are like unsure as to how they work, I am going to show you. And it's going to be lots and lots of fun. So what I need here is I need to scoop a little bit of the paint out. And we're going to stick with primarily like red and orange. So I'm going to use this one. And actually, this is our color kit for our November kit. And so I might actually use some of this red as well to get that deeper tone. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to open these up, and I'll show you what they look like if you haven't seen them. So yeah, so when you Beth, I hit myself in my face, or I hit myself in the face with my desktop when I was putting a new desktop onto my desk, and I cut my lip open and ended up in the emergency room. Okay, so, and therefore my face is hidden. Okay, so I'm just, a little bit of these go a long way. So you don't need a lot. And this color I haven't even swatched yet. So it's, we're all in the same boat here. But I have like a strip of this paper where I actually missed the gesso. So, and I know that I want my mixed media to kind of come down this direction. So I might want to try and make sure that I think I'm going to do that. Okay. And then here is, so that one is called Queen of Hearts Red. And then this one is more of a yellowy orange. And this one is called Mango Mania. And Lindy's has a couple of different types of powders. There's flat powders that are just purely pigment. And then there's also powders that have mica in them that add shimmer. So both of the ones that I'm using today are flat. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of water here and kind of mix these up. And you see that the powder itself does not at all resemble what the actual color is. And you can see also how much pigment is packed into a very little amount of powder, a small amount of powder. So then I'm going to grab this brush and let's mix up the red. And that's so pretty. That's going to work out perfectly. Exactly what I wanted. And I just want to make sure that I have all these little. Okay. So the key with mixed media is that less is more. You want to start small and then add more color to your paper. You don't want to flood it with color. You kind of want to add layers as opposed to just go in really, really heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water here. And I want my paint to kind of come in a diagonal this direction. So I'm just adding some water, and this is going to give my paint just that ability to move around the page. If I didn't have gesso here, the paint would just absorb directly into the paper, and you wouldn't be able to move it around a whole lot. Watercolor paper is more forgiving. Um, so now what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of this yellow, and I'm just going to start by adding it up towards the top of my page. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You can add the color to your packaging and just smush it, which is an easy way to go about it as well. So I'm just adding some of this here, and I wanna, okay. So now what I wanna do is I'm gonna take this spray bottle, I'm gonna add a little bit more water, and then I'm gonna pick up my paper and I'm gonna allow the color to move around my page. And where there's no water, it doesn't, the paint won't really go there super easily. With watercolor, it's kind of that, it's that little trick that allows you to, if you don't put water there, it isn't going to bleed. So I'm just adding some color here. Yep, that's exactly right. And honestly, really the whole goal behind this is just to get some color on your background, because most of this is going to get covered up. All right, so now let's add a little bit of this red in places. I'm gonna throw some red on here and let that kind of blend together as well. All right. So you can see right here, I was missing gesso, and you'll be able to tell that that red just hit that paper and there it is. But that's all right. We'll just let it be. I'm just going to kind of let it kind of flow around a little bit. And So I know that we're going to want to have a little bit of this pop out from behind our goodies that we'll add. So I'm going to add, let's see, one of these brushes I was using yellow with. And these big, I think they're called filbert brushes. They're great for this kind of thing because they pack a lot of water in them. So it makes it easy to add water and color without scrubbing your paper. Because oftentimes when you scrub your paper, it kind of gets beaten up and you'll see it kind of, disintegrate isn't the right word, but it gets kind of, you know how when you have an old sweater and it's kind of pilled? If you scrub regular cardstock like that, um, you'll have that same kind of thing happen. So I'm going to put a little bit more red down here. Put a little bit over here too. So I think it just want to have like that pretty like fall color. And then maybe we'll put a little bit at the top as well. So a little bit more butter on top so that this can kind of writing. And now I'm just going to let it dry. And we have pretty much done what we wanted to do. Pull a little. There. All right. And then just to help this dry a little faster, I'm just going to roll my paper towels over the top of it. And then this will dry a little quicker. But for the heck of it, red, I'm going to add, I think I'm going to add some reddish orange splatters. Add a little bit more to that. And so this will be more orangish. Right. Now I want to grab a smaller brush for this. Okay. So now I'm just going to take this and then you just hit it with your fingers or with your finger and it just adds some color to your page. I think I want some yellow too. And you can mix these with all kinds of different things. So you can mix them with texture paste. If you have any like glitter paste, or I have a bunch of like a bunch of Nuvo paste, like the embellishment mousse and stuff like that. And I have some white ones and some paste that has like shimmer in it. And you can mix these with that as well. So there we go. Done. And then we'll just roll this over and wait for it to dry. And so we'll go and do these other pages first, and then we'll come back to this one. Does anybody have any questions about what I just did? Oh, good. I'm glad you. Yeah, you get with this kind of stuff, you can't try to make it perfect. You just have to like throw caution to the wind. And believe it or not, even if you end up making some backgrounds that you don't think that you'll like or use, you might surprise yourself, because I have so many backgrounds that are sitting in my I have like a tray of them, and I just hold on to them. Sometimes um I'll die cut with them, or I'll use them as like cut them up and use them as layers. Sometimes there's parts that I like and parts that I don't. And so when you do splatters, they go everywhere. Right. I just don't want to get color on stuff we don't want color on. All right, so there, we'll let this, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. And if I have to at the last minute, I will um, uh, use my heat gun to get everything dried up. All right, so this next page, which we're going to work on, is let's move on to layout number 2, and 2. Second, get this to. Hoping to be able to print this for us. Okay. There we go. Hang on 1 second, because I'll show you what these look like so that you have an idea of what we're. What in the world is it doing now? It's because my printer. Never mind. Okay. You guys are going to have to bear with me today. Okay, let's just get a move on it. So with layout number 2, we need a sheet of white cardstock, and this one has lots of flowers on it. And then just make sure that it's this one, that one down. So I need a regular sheet of white cardstock. Here. Okay. To trim the edge off of this one. For those of you that like the layouts with lots of photos, all of the layouts in our September project sheets, they all have a lot of photos on them, so which is pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we are going to start by layering our. So we're starting with a sheet of white cardstock, and I have taken let's see, what is the name of this paper? So I can remember off the top of my head. I'm downloading it as we speak. So the okay, so this is the Fresh Ideas paper, and what I did is I cut it into a 2 by 12-inch strip, and then I just cut it along the diagonal, corner to corner. And so then this helps us set up our diagonal design, and it gives us lines to work with. Because if you just randomly decide to put something diagonal down, it's hard to get it to line up right. So we can kind of base everything on the diagonal lines at the top and the bottom here. So um, I think that that is super helpful. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we've got um, the triangles here, and then we've got a bunch of strips of film strip paper that is cut from the My Passions paper. So we've got five of these, and in essence, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of create some shelves for my photos, and my photos are um, a bit well, they're cardstock. But I did just get a new photo printer. I ordered it from Amazon. I've been sitting here trying to figure out which one I wanted to invest in, and I ended up with the Epson EcoTank 8550, which is a wide format printer. If anybody's interested in if you've been looking at the wide format printers, this one's on sale this week um, at Amazon, and I got it for like I think $200 off. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive, and I'm going to glue these down. I'm just adding adhesive on the edges because I might be tucking some stuff in here, and I'm going to do that with all of the little strips. So put that one on, and then this one as well, and just get this corner down. Okay, so let's see, on there straight. Okay, and then we are going to start kind of placing these film strips, and I want them to kind of alternate so that some of them are going off the edge on this side, some of them are going off the edge on this side, or on the left side, and then some on the right. So it kind of creates that kind of give and take a little bit. So first of all, let's just add a little bit of adhesive, and This is one of those pages that just comes together really quickly. So we'll do that, and then, and I may like lift things up. That's why I'm not putting a ton of adhesive behind these, but I want them to stick down. And I don't want the lines, the vertical lines on the film strip, I don't want them to line up exactly with the film strip that's below it. So I want them to be kind of offset a little bit. So we'll make sure that, and so we've got, oops. All right, so there we go. And then I'll pull one and have this one kind of, and we're gonna, I think I'm gonna trim one, and I'll make this one run all the way off the edge. The only ones that I won't have go to the edge are ones that are gonna be covered up by other things. So this one, I'm going to have it to kind of, there we go. So I'm gonna add a little bit here and here. So we just want this to be able to kind of, and then this one kind of throw on top here, and I think so I don't want that to be, so we're just kind of creating like a, you know, like the tiered garden beds that are raised beds that people have in their yards, kind of is that idea. I need to make sure that we're not going to be lined up exactly with any of the others. Okay, so there's that. I think this goes all the way to the edge. And we've got one more that we'll put on here. And this one, I'm just going to kind of tuck in. All right, so it's a matter of finding that spacing that works right. Oh, I'm going to do it this way. And I think that this will work better. Okay, so this, it's tricky getting these to line up right. All right, so there we go. So you see that none of the lines are really lined up exactly. And that is really helpful because it just kind of makes it makes it look more interesting, I think. Okay, so then what we'll do is we're going to flip this over, and we're just going to trim the pieces that are hanging off the edge. All right. So there's that side, and we'll do. So Bob and I have been watching Narcos. Has anybody watched that? It's actually really good. My sister recommended it, and I was, I watched a bit of it once, and now I just need a tiny little piece that I'm going to add right here. And I don't need a whole lot. Just kind of a bummer. I should have paid a little, maybe closer attention to how I was placing those others. Okay, so let's see here. Just want a strip of this. Anyway, so we've been watching Narcos, and we've blazed through the first 2 seasons, and are just now getting ready to start the third. You liked Narcos? Let's see, what am I missing? Is somebody, Leisha, what did I miss? What did I need to scroll up. Um, Cheryl. I think I missed somebody's comment. Is there a link on Amazon for the printer? You know what? If you go to our Craft and Connect community, there's actually a link in the description box here. There is a thread on printers there that has a link, but if you write it down, it's the Epson 8550 is the model number that I got. And the interesting thing is that the wide format printer was less expensive because the other one wasn't on sale. So it was it was a win-win for me. Okay, so I think that I just need a little, piece to sit right there. But yeah, so the printer was a great deal. So it was like regularly 700, and I got it for um I got it for 4.99. And then the regular format printer, the 8.5 by 11 was like 6.25. So and so you can print both. Let's see here. This actually really doesn't matter. It's all because of that. This is just a me thing, you guys. The size of these frames. There we go. Okay, so now I just need to cut this. But yeah, the printer was a good deal for sure. And so what I wanted is I wanted something that I could do printables and stuff like that, because I have some really exciting news and some stuff that's coming up that we'll be sharing in our Craft and Connect community over the next few days. So, and and my printer is going to go hand in hand with some of that. Okay, so we've got the foundation of our page set up, and now we're going to put our photos in. And this layout, we're using let's see, these are um, 2x3 photos. So we're going to just simply, I am not, just for the sake of time, I'm not going to add dimensional adhesive or a whole lot of it on this page, or any of them for that matter, just because it ends up taking me so much time. And I know that you guys don't want to sit here and watch me peel off um, adhesive or the little backing papers or put glue or all that kind of good stuff. So I think what we're going to do is we'll set these in place. I'm just going to, and the nice thing is that you can use these little film strips to line up the edge of your photos. So this one is going to be here. This one will kind of be about right here. And then we'll do this one here. A bit of space. And I may need to move these over just slightly. I think I do. So this, I'm going to move over to about here, I think. And then this one, put here. So I want, I don't want to be crowding that edge too much. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so we're watching Mad Men. We watched we're watching Narcos. We watched Mad Men. We watched Deadwood, and so I don't know what we're going to watch next. If you guys have any recommendations for good series. Okay, so we've created step one. So we've got our photos and all of the background. So now we're going to move on and add some of the larger embellishments. And the one thing I will need to find is my title. Can't remember which package it's in, but for now, we'll just start adding in our florals. So I've pulled out all of the flowers that are included on our project sheet. Now, if you don't have the project sheet in front of you, there is a link to all three of the layouts. There are project sheets for all three of them, and it gives you all of the products, the steps, and everything. And that's what I'm working off of. Usually I would have them printed out, but yesterday caused me grief. So I'm not sure where I am or what I'm doing. So I've pulled most of my florals out ahead of time. And I'm just going to kind of sort through these. Now, these are all from our September kits. So this one is going to kind of tuck in here. And a little blue one here. And then I think we've got a pink one that I'm going to. So I'm just going to kind of put them in place, and then I'll glue them down. But these flowers are so fun. I love that they're a bit abstract, and they've got a lot of different color and detail on them. If you, I don't know if you can tell here, but there's like a little grid pattern. There's some brush strokes, some kind of scribbly lines in each one of them. So that's fun. Okay, so we've got that one. Then we're going to put this larger one, I think, right in here. And I also have a frame that I need to pull out. I'm going to put behind the top photo. So I'm cutting this in half because we're going to use the other half in a different place. But so I'm putting this add a little bit of adhesive around the edge of my photo here so that this sits right. So I just want the border to be somewhat equal. Otherwise, I would just put this down, but if a part of my frame is going to get covered up by something, I usually try to, okay, you know what we're going to do? Put this back here. This is going to tuck in here. So, and then I'm going to move this. Oops. So I want to make sure that this is going to stay in place when I put this down, because the adhesive on these stickers is really good, and once it's down, it's kind of down. So I just want to make sure that my head's in the way. I apologize. Okay. Sorry, my head's in the way. There we go. So I wanted that there. And then this is going to kind of, I think I'm going to scoot this just a little bit over so that it doesn't butt up right next to. I'm losing my flower. Okay. So I want this there. Okay. Ah. Sorry about that. All right, so now let's start adding in our little flowers. And some of these I'm going to tuck in. I think I want this photo to be able to sit right there. So I want to move this over just a little bit. Leave like a little bit of space, but there we go. Sorry about that. All right. So now let's tuck in some of these florals. I'll put this one over. As much of the detail on that flower sticking out as possible. Okay. Okay. Want the top of the flower to stand out just a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then this guy, I'm going to tuck him in right over here. And I think I don't want this to cover up the pink flower. So I'm going to trim this leaf off. Okay, there we go. All right, so there, and then we're going to put this guy here, and I don't need all of this stem, so it just makes it a little easier to tuck it in when you, okay, so there's that one. Then this next one we'll put here, and I'm going to tuck him right here. And then I've got another little, I don't really need the leaves on this guy. So I'm going to not this guy, actually. I need him here. There we go. Put this back just a little bit, and then the little red one slip in right here, and then that covers this little gap right there between. And then we'll put this guy down here. So I just have them overlap the you want 10 packs of these flowers. Yeah, they're good ones. Okay, so then let's see, I'm gonna pop this one just right here, and you can add I'm not putting foam adhesive, but you can easily add foam adhesive to kind of add a little, zhuzh it up a little, and it'll add some shadows. So like if I were to be adding foam adhesive to this, I would probably add some foam here, some foam here, and maybe on this one as well. And then I would probably add foam on my photos as well. And then it just adds a little bit of shadow in between, and also some shadow in between your florals, or like your, in between all of your layers. And it just makes it a little more interesting to look at. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but let's see. So then we need like a yellowish flower, and I think there is pack. Did I put my flowers? The floral die cut. What did I do with them? I think I have some die cut flowers from one of the papers that I can substitute, because I don't. You hear noise? It's our cat Melvin. He's up to no good. And there's no, so I fussy cut all of these flowers from one of the papers, and it would be, see, I've got too many things on my desk. Show you what it looks like though. So this kit has this whole sheet of beautiful kind of abstracty flowers, and I fussy cut the entire sheet of them. All right, here we go. Let me find it. Ah, here we go. So there's a whole sheet of like super cool flowers. So I'm just gonna grab one of these that I fussy cut already, and we'll use that in place of the one that is missing here. So I'm just gonna stick him right behind this photo here. Okay. It's fun to have some like different looking or some more unique floral pieces to work with. Okay, and then just take this guy, and I'm going to tuck him about right here. Maybe I'll lift him up just a bit. There we go. And then need that. So let's find, got a, know that there was a green leaf, so we'll add him. Here. And then you've got another little leaf sprig that we'll put right over here. And then in the bottom, we're going to add this little black and white flower edge here. And then I'm going to trim what's hanging off. So I've got that, and then there should be funky little here in the world. Flowers. Okay. Looks like I missed a couple of them. This will kind of show you what's inside this pack. There's so many, and they're so pretty. So I think this is the one that I needed here. So this one is going to go here, and then looking for a little abstract. This guy. Okay, so I'm gonna take my adhesive and put these little leaves down, because those are the kinds of things that get torn if they're not stuck down. All right. And then this guy, it's going to kind of lean up against the edge here. And then I have like a cute little yellow one that will just pop over here. And okay. And then I'm going to cut the edges off that one, but I'm not going to do it quite yet in case I need to move something slightly. There. So now we've done all of our we've added our photos, and we've done all of our large embellishments. So the next step is to start adding the little bits to finish it off. Okay. So I have, it's funny because I just said I didn't need that one, and I do. This guy. Okay. So then we'll start adding our smaller embellishments. And this is what fills out your page. That, and we need this little blue one. Kind of sit up here. So we're going to add some blue to the center of our page to kind of balance it out a little bit. So we want to bring some blue up to this area. And then we've got a little black and white flower that we'll put over. Kind of scoot this guy just slightly this direction. So I'm going to add him here. And in fact, I might just move this one and move this one over a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to add this guy here. So he's going to fill in that little gap there. I don't want him to cover up the photo too much. Okay. And then we've got a little yellow flower. It's going to sit right here, and there's a little tiny gap between this flower and the edge of that photo, and this is going to cover that. And then we've got this cute pink daisy. It's going to sit right about, I want it right about here. Alrighty, and then we just need to find a few other bits and pieces. And I think, let's oops, to find these here. So we've got one that says my happy place, and I'm not sure which one it's in. Might be in the, there's so many bits and pieces in these kits, so not that. It's here. It's probably in it's in here. Of course. Once put all my things. I need to find a little round something or other to fill in this little spot. So let's see what we've got here. Could do that, but that's yellow. I'd like to have something orange there. All right, so not there. These are all the little, we need our title too. I forgot about that. Let's see here. Ah, here we go. Okay, so our happy place is in this. And we just need to find it. There we go. Ah, there it is. That's what I want. Not that. Okay, so we'll put the little our happy place here. And then not sure yet. We want got a couple of other little word strips. And I think these are the cardstock stickers. So we'll take a few of these. What a perfect day. We'll pop that right here. want it here. I think I want it there. Okay, there we go. So there's that. And then we'll do this one here that says, today is full of tiny chances to feel joy. And we'll put him right there. And let's see. Find one more. Let's see here. Remember this, and we'll pop this underneath this flower. And I believe, with the exception of my title, which I need to find, maybe that, and the title is Puffy Cardstock Sticker, and he is going to sit right at the top here. Focus on the little things. And I think that this turned out really cute. And so this page, one of the reasons that it works as well as it does is because everything just kind of like takes your eye down from the upper corner down through the page. So it just kind of like sways right through. And I love that. All righty. Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. If you'll give the video a thumbs up, that's really helpful. And if you share it with your friends, that's even more helpful because it gets the word out about our kits um, and then also our project sheets and our channel. So there we go. Cleaned up the edge, and this one is done. And I think maybe this could use a little something on this side. Not sure what it is, but maybe that, and maybe one more flower. But I also think that this blue flower is covered up too much. Let's see. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, all right. Let's add another little flower. But I don't want it to be a super busy one, so maybe just a little black and white one. I think that there's, oh, here. This one's smaller, so I think that that's good. And then maybe just a little green leaf, or do we want a pink leaf? I think I like the pink leaf. Okay, so we're going to add that there too. This is a slight adjustment to the original design, but it just seemed like this side of the page needed just a little help. All right. So that one is done. check on our, that's coming at least. All right. So now let's move on to layout number 2. How are we doing on time? Huh, not too bad, not too bad. All right. So the next page that we're doing, layout number 2. Need to bring that one up on my list. And like I said, if you guys need these project sheets, there's a link in the description box where you can download them. And it gives you all of the steps. And if you don't have like our September kits, you can use whatever project or products you have on hand. You can just kind of use the project sheet as your guide. Okay, so this one is stuck already somewhere. To move some stuff around. That's a little bit. So now. What's out there? I've also got our December or our November papers that are sitting over here. And so, okay, let's see what we're doing here. This is around just a little bit. Set those aside. And then this one. The one that I need. So I have taken the, I need to tell you which paper it is. I've gutted the center of this and I've left a 1.5 inch border around the entire page. And this is the rosy and sweet paper. So it's the one with all the apples on one side, and then on the reverse side, it's got a plaid. So you don't want to just waste this. So I had you gut it so you can keep the center and use it for something else. And so I've also cut this cardstock down to 11.25 by 11.25. And so that's just going to allow us to, it seems like kind of an odd size, but I needed to have it so that we got this this first row of the plaid. Otherwise, it would have just shown the edge of just that little stripe, but I wanted to show the plaid itself around the border of this. So that's why the size seems weird. Okay, so now actually what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to use my liquid glue for this. And I do that often with borders because it's very forgiving and you can move your paper around to position it so you've got some wiggle room before it actually sticks. Okay. So when I put this down, I just want it to situate itself. It might not be like completely even all the way around, but I wanted to be able to see this outer edge of the plaid. Okie dokie. And this one, I've pre-cut all of my papers for it. So we're going to kind of lay them out here. And this layout has a lot of different things that you can do with it in terms of adding more photos, adding hidden journaling. You can do it just the way that I'm showing it in the project sheet, but I'll show you some other options where you can add some little hinges and things can flap up. The flaps can lift. You can actually untie things, and then you can have extra photos underneath, and it'll make more sense once we kind of get this put together here. But I'm going to, so there's a cutting information for all of these different strips that are listed both in the description box and on the project sheet. So basically what we're doing is we're creating a little bunch of little stripe kind of things. I don't even know. This is like it's an interactive page. So just putting these together kind of where I want them to be. We're not going to put the photos on here yet, but what we are going to do, and then I had you all cut up the a few of the die cuts that were in the die cut pack here. So like for instance, I had you cut this one up into a few different pieces because I wanted to use some of these decorative edges along the edge of some of these strips here. So we did that. We're going to put a little bit over here. And then I think that there's a green one that I had us cut up as well. Let's see. Because I cut a bunch of stuff. I fussy cut a bunch of things, so it's all kind of mixed in together there. But so this one I also had us cut up because we're going to use some pieces of it. At least I thought we were. What did I do with it? That one I might still need to cut then. Okay, so then we've got this guy where we're going to use him. So we left like all the decorative stuff, and I just had you cut strips so that we can use all of the details on these pieces. So this one, we cut pieces out of this die cut. And there's, like I said, that there's a cutting guide for you in the project sheet. So, and then we've got this guy who's going to go here. And then I'm going to put the little detail on the edge there. And then this one goes here. I think there should be the other edge there. And I think the only one that I must have not cut is this guy. So let me quickly cut him. And I'm going to, so all of these little paper strips are 1.5 inches. So I'm just, in fact, I know I cut this one. I just don't know where it is. 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut, honestly, you probably, aside from having them be the right height, it doesn't really, the rest of it doesn't really matter. So this guy is going to go here and here. So we'll go ahead and glue these. So if you haven't heard me discuss Melvin before, all the noise that you're hearing in the background is Melvin. Melvin is our 10-month-old kitten, and he is absolutely insane. He's fearless, and he gets into everything that he shouldn't, and he's scared of absolutely nothing. Not the vacuum, not the broom, nothing. He chases the Roomba. Okay, so I need to. In fact, I think he's our mascot going forward because I always have something to say about him. Okay, so this guy, put here. And this one we're going to put here. Right, like that. I'll glue these others. What I'm going to show you, so when I glue these down, I want them just, I want the lower piece just to butt up right next to those holes. Do the same on this one. So for those of you that struggle with using pattern paper and, you know, like feeling like it's busy or, you know, you don't know how you're going to use something, having something or a paper that just you use a little of it rather than a lot, it allows you to kind of incorporate some of those more bold, busy patterns into your pages. So you don't have to have those toss away piles, you know. People oftentimes, I know that in the past I've looked at things and I'm like, gosh, I probably will never use that. I don't know how to use it. But if you try and look at your papers in a different way, I think you'd be surprised at how easy it is to actually use some of the things that you might find more difficult. So put this guy on here. And then this one here. Now this guy I'm going to have to use my liquid glue because there's not a whole lot to it. There was the reason that this is cut the way that it is there was a rainbow on this die cut and I didn't want the rainbow, I just wanted the edge. So that is why it's this tiny little piece. But I just wanted this little notebook edge. Okay, so now what we'll do is, this is where you're going to want your T-square ruler. And most of it doesn't really matter, but I think that we want to try and have the edges of the distance from the left edge and the right edge to be somewhat similar, and you want them lined up properly. So and as you can see here, as I design, or as the way that this is set up, um, the longer length and the shorter length kind of waves back and forth, so it's not symmetrical. Alrighty. I think this one, I think we're going to have closer together. All right. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'll measure in about 6 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, because there's 5 of these strips and they're all about the same. They're all 1.5 inches tall. So what we'll do is I'm going to go over here and just measure out 3/4 of an inch. So this is where this one's going to line up. So I've got it marked at 6 inches. And then I'm going to go up 1.25 inches, or I mean 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch. So this will allow me to put these in the right place, and then we can just add everything else on top of it. But if you start with something that's aligned properly, it makes it a lot easier for you to get everything else put down and spaced the way that you want it. So let's see. I've got them in the wrong spot. Okay, so this one goes here. This one goes here. And this is the longest one that we've got. So this is going to be the one that decides what the border is going to be on either side. So, all right. So here, now what I'll show you really quick also is you can take like a scrap of paper. Let's make this 1.5 inches. And I want to show you how you can adjust this page to make your flaps. So let's see how many of these each. Like 1.5 inches. So I'm cutting a bunch of paper strips that are 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And what you'll do with these is you'll fold them in half. Like this. And then you'll glue them. Got some glue here. And you'll glue it right up to the edge there. And then when we glue these down, what will happen is you'll be able to lift these and you'll be able to add photos underneath here if you want, or journaling, or what have you. So you can create these little hinges if you so desire. And then these are going to kind of tie with little string in the center here. Okay, so let's figure out where this one is going to lie. And the other thing we need to do really quick before I forget is I'm going to take my crocodile and I want to line up these holes so that it's like the holes are going to line up so that when I tie the string through, they're going to go at the same place. And then this one here, we'll do the same thing. Do that. Bring that in just a little bit. Okay. This one has holes. This one's going to need them. So we'll just go ahead and put these together. And oops, just a second. All right. Okay. There you go. You can use a hole punch or whatever you have on hand, but this kind of makes it so that you can add your string to close these, and you want to do that before you want to have the holes punched before you stick these down. So alrighty, just for the fun of it, let's just fold these and we'll add them to, since I'm not going to put the dimensional adhesive, we have time to put these little hinges in here. So we'll need 10 of them. And this is a great trick for, like if you make mini albums, this is a great way to do little pop-ups in your mini albums. Let's see. Okay, there's that one. And these are too long, we'll just trim them down afterwards. Okay. Alrighty. Natalie does amazing layouts. She's very, very clever. In fact, she just did one, she did a live on Wednesday, and she did one using some of the frames that are in the October kit. And for those of you that I did actually post a layout, our first layout with our for our October project sheets. I posted that or showed that earlier this week. So we've got one done and then two in the works. So sometimes there's just too much to do. but I figured that you would all rather have me get your kits on their way to you than um, get the layouts all completed before I do that. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to add these little hinges. And they're just, and you want the fold towards the outside so that when you lift them up, they'll fold outward. And you'll probably want to use like a really strong adhesive for this too. This one is too long, so I'm going to trim that down so that they stay in place. If you have them, if you don't use a strong adhesive, it will likely just fall off your page, so you don't want that to happen. So fold towards the outside. Remember my kids when they were in elementary school and they used to have to fold their paper and the teachers would say, you need to fold it hot dog style. Nope, this one's hamburger style. I often think that when I'm like telling people to fold things, I want to say, oh, it's like a hot dog bun or a hamburger bun. Alrighty. And then we've got, I have just enough. Hooray. Okay. Okay, so now, oops, glued this one to the wrong side. Duh. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to figure out where, just going to put a little bit of adhesive here for a second, just to hold these in place so that I know where they're going to sit. Okay, that's about right. So, and I'm going to move this a little bit, but what I want to do here is going to take and put some adhesive on this one, and I want it to be straight. So I'm going to take my T-square ruler and I'm going to line it up with the upper pencil mark that I marked. And then I'm going to place it along so that it's in line with this orange stripe here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So I'm going to add a little adhesive here and take my T-square ruler. Cheapest tool that you can buy, but I swear I use this thing all the time. Okay. And it's going to line up right with the edge of that orange. Now I might just want to pull this out just a tiny bit on either side because I want a little more space between each one of the, so I didn't want that to be overcrowded. I'm just gonna kind of measure this here. It's 2 inches in on this side and just a little less than 2 inches here. So I'm gonna pop this in here. Let's see. And it really doesn't matter, but this is the one piece that you kind of want to have in place properly. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of liquid adhesive and I'm going to add it underneath here. And this will keep this from moving because every time I put like just regular tape runner and I, move things around, or, things just tend to shift a little bit and I don't want that to happen here. All right. Okay. So then what we'll do is we are going to lift this one up. And the rest of these are going to just fall into place pretty easily. And so we'll do these are going to go about right here. And then this one is going to go about here. And the top ones here. So I kind of want, what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to gauge where I want the to sit. And I think that that's about right. So what I'll do is I'm going to use this and I'm just going to take my liquid adhesive and I'm just going to butt this up here. Just want to make sure that it looks somewhat straight, right? Same with this one. So this kind of allows you to just have your spacing in between each one of your rows even or somewhat even. It doesn't have to be perfect, of course, but alrighty. One more. So these little hinges will allow you to have that little interactive element on your page. All right. So now we're going to take our T-square ruler and put it on the other side. And we are going to add, or actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn this way, and this way these will line up the way that we want them. I'm going to start there yet. I'm going to start with this one. Okay, so here we go. And okay. Just hold on to it for a little second. Then this one, whoops, glue on my fingers. Seems like a little more space than I probably would have liked initially, but that's all right. So I want to make sure that that's sitting there about right. Okay. And then this pink one. Like I said, none of this is going to be perfect, but it just when you're doing a linear page, if you have something that is really off, it shows. Okay. All right. And then one more. Okay. And this is the hardest part of the page, really. It's just getting this situated the way that. Okay, so there we go. All right. So for the sake of time, I'm putting a tiny bit of adhesive underneath these so that they lay flat, because we're going to embellish these, and I'll add my string later, but you'll just take some embroidery thread and just tie them, just thread it through in the center here. What just happened there? Okay. But anyway, you'll just thread it through the holes here, and you'll tie it. But you can add anything you want underneath these flaps. Obviously you won't have the adhesive here, you put something else there, but I'm just putting the adhesive just to hold them down so that we can do the pretty part. Okay, so this is just the foundation of our page here. Let me put this this needle here so that I don't lose my. Okay, so now we are going to add our photos and the larger embellishments. Now the photos are 1.5 by 3 inches, and and you're going to use 5 of them. So we'll have one here, and I don't want them like lined up directly on top. I'm going to offset them slightly, but they're going to be centered more or less on each one of the paper strips. But you see how I've lifted them just so that they're a little bit off center there. Then that way you get to see some of what is underneath there. So do this here. Then we'll put another photo on this side. So I'm just going to add some adhesive behind these. And I would probably add dimensional adhesive if I wasn't trying to rush, but I would probably put some dimensional adhesive under my photos here. I think it would be a nice, adding that dimension would be a good thing to do, or would be a nice addition. Okay, so I'm going to put this guy here. And so you see by offsetting these just a little bit, you don't cover up the whole, that whole flap. Okay, so this guy put here. And then this guy, I'm going to have him sink down just slightly. Okay. So now we need to add our larger embellishments. And we've got this little bookshelf I will put here. And I want to place it so that he's not, this little napkin isn't getting obstructed by the piece below it. And then we'll add our little planter. There. And we've got this little label sticker here. Now, I would probably like take a bone folder maybe and crease that there so that when you lift this up, it will fold along with your flap, but you don't have to do that. Okay, and then we'll take this little leaf and we're gonna pop him right about here. Then I've got a few more bits and pieces I need to add. And some of them, there's a little cute little shopping bag on the puffy stickers here. So we're going to take this guy and put him here. And then there's a stack of books that will sit on top of. Drop this down just a little bit. And I'm going to put the little books right there. And then the other thing that you can do is after your page is done, you can add some stitching along the edge if you want. You could do it by hand or you could do it with your sewing machine and have it be like a zigzag if you wanted to. That's how I showed it in the project sheet. And that's probably what I will do. Move those little pencil lines. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the last bit of this page. And these are all the pretty little details. So we'll start with, but this guy, I'm going to end up putting some foam adhesive on this one because this guy, let's see, there's my scissors, is going to sit on top of that dimensional sticker. So he needs a little bit of dimensional adhesive here. If you do this glue, if I don't put the pin in the little tip here, the glue dries and it gets clogged pretty quickly. So let's see. So I'm just going to set him here. So that way, okay, and then I think that there's a cute little alarm clock. And I kind of did this, not completely, but kind of tone on tone a little bit. Scoot this over just a little bit so that he can sit. Huh. All right, then. Need a little bit more. Then, if you're as blind as I am, okay, so we'll put this here. And then I'm going to add Melvin. Okay. How am I doing with the pain? You know, it's not terrible. I've just been taking Tylenol for it. It hurt a lot, like immediately after it happened when we were driving to the emergency room, and I was trying to put ice on it, and then the ice hurt, and it was just it was no fun. Let's see, good stuff. Where so but the pain isn't that bad. It's just it's uncomfortable. Melvin, get over here. Say hello to everybody. Say hello. What do you have to say for yourself? Huh? You can say hello to everybody? Yeah. Get out of here. He's trying to climb my shelves, is what he's trying to do. Okay, so we need to believe that there's a cute little teacup that we're gonna layer here. Honestly, I think I want this. Oh, I think he just decided to leave. There we go. I'm gonna move him in this direction. So that I can put my little teacup. Is that what I wanted there? I think so. Okay. So there's the teacup. And then I want this little pink leaf, I think. This guy, I need to drop him down just a little. So who's cooking Thanksgiving? Are you guys cooking or are you going? Excuse my hands. Whenever I do packing, my hands just get so dry and I get like these terrible hangnails. And so my hands just look terrible. But you know what? My hands look a lot better than my face does. So that's okay. So there's that. And then you're cooking. My girls wanted to like do everything different. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 we can't. It's tradition. And Madeline's like, well, let's make new traditions. I'm like, nope, got to have the things that we always have. And they're like, we don't get it. Like, there's just certain things that you have to have every Thanksgiving for, like, it makes you remember, like, people that aren't with us anymore. So, okay, so let's see here. I need, you know what? This guy is here. I think that there's another one that goes the other direction. And then we are going to put this little apple here as well. And then maybe the teacups are not puffy. Nope, they are. Here is the other little teacup. And then I have a little coffee cup that is going to go here. So you can kind of see that I tried to kind of keep within the color family of each one of the paper strips. So all the embellishments kind of are within that family of colors. Okay, so there's that. And then there's one that says Weekend Fun. And I believe that that is likely an embellishment, or like a die cut, I believe. Or it could be, let's see here. I think it must be a die cut. So now it's just a matter of looking through them. I might try to keep my backing sheets so that I can so I need one that says Weekend Fun. I don't see it here. Do you guys see that? I don't see it. Maybe it's on the side. Ah, yes it is. Yes, ma'am. Weekend Fun. And then we also need the good stuff. Let's see here. The good stuff is here. And I think my little candle is a die cut. So we're going to put the good stuff here. Move this over just a bit because I don't want him to stand. The edge. So, oh no, we gotta have our the hole punch, or the little hole we punched visible. And then I just need a little tiny candle. Notebook. Let's see. So many things. It's hard to, I tell you what, when I create these, it's hard to make a decision what to use. Okay. I'm not finding my little candle. here. All right, friends. This is where I go insane. Mhm. You know what? Maybe we'll find something else to use instead. Any ideas, anybody? Needs to be something that's blue, so I could put, well, the pear's too big. Let's see here. I use on this side. These are too big. Let's find something blue on this side, on this. How about a little pencil? Do it this way. There we go. All right. And then to finish it off, what you'll do is you'll just, let's see if I have some embroidery cloths this is just white, so I can show you what it will look like. So these are stuck down. And so what I would do, what I plan to do, and the cool thing with this is if you use white and you have like ink or mist or anything like that, you can change the color of your thread to be whatever color you want. But so what you'll do is you'll take your thread and you'll thread it through the holes and just tie it in a little. I'm going to do a knot, but I'm not going to tie the knot super tight. Oops. This is, one second, I screwed that up. All right, let's try that again. These are different lengths, so it got messed up. All right, tie it in a knot. And if you put eyelets, if you have eyelets in your stash, if you put eyelets in this, then those holes will be reinforced. You won't have to worry about them falling apart. But I'll probably put colored thread here, but you get the idea. So that is layout number 2 done. And then of course I'll add stitching around the edges. And if you wanted more embellishments, you can easily add those. But this one's kind of nice and clean and simple. And you can even, if we were to, if you added dimensional adhesive, I'm just going to show you because it really does make a big difference. Let's take these photos. I'm going to glue them down, but I'll show you. It kind of takes like a layout that might otherwise seem a little bit plain. Just kind of makes it look a little more interesting to look at. And some people don't like to have dimension in their albums, and I totally get that. So this is just a personal preference for sure. this one here. But you see how that has that little bit of shadow underneath. So and I use Fun Foam for my dimensional adhesive. So the foam that you get in the kids section at Michael's. I buy mine on Amazon, but it's the same stuff. And I like the one that has the sticker on one side. So then you only have to add glue to one side. It just makes it a lot faster. I need their strip here. A little bit here. This one is just going to drop down just right there. And honestly, if we wanted to, we could lift this up. We'll just do this just because we're doing it. Okay. Some liquid adhesive here. And we can place this back. It was sitting before. But you can see how these little shadows just kind of make a big difference. And then we'll do the same thing with this guy, because we can. Let's just finish the last. Oh, the two-tone hearts. Did we do those? Were they from last February? Were they puffy? I think that they were puffy hearts. But we're gonna. I think we're gonna start doing some like individual embellishments, like separate things that are like things that you might just like to have in your stash, you know, things that you reach for often, enamel dots, those kinds of things. We did it in our, yeah, I think the dimension makes a big difference for sure. Otherwise, like you can do really simple with just very, limited dimension and having that little bit of shadow just makes a big difference. And I'm just going to put a little bit behind this guy just to lift him up just a little bit. See, look what I started. Like, I'm not gonna do this to you, but I am. Okay. All right. So that just makes a big difference, I think. So here's the page, and then when you have all the little strings in the middle, in between, I think it'll be really cute. So there is layout number 2 done, and we are 6:30, and I think we might be able to finish all 3 tonight, which is crazy, given the fact that I'm usually horribly slow. But I must be working at a good pace tonight. So layout number 2, and then there's layout number 1, or no, number 2 and 3. Let's go back and we'll finish up layout 1. I need to look and see how my this is still kind of wet. If you guys can bear with me for a second, I'm just going to take my heat tool to this and dry it just a little bit so that I can stick things down to it. Otherwise, I'm trying to keep my heat tool away from the camera. One thing to keep in mind too when you are using your heat tool, to avoid having your paper warp too terribly. Um, if you switch back and forth from drying underneath to on top, going back and forth. I'm gonna stand here because it doesn't really matter. The noise is the noise, right? Keeps you from having to look at the. So here is the paper. But I just want it to be dry enough so that when I put my stuff on top of it, that everything doesn't warp. Plus, glue doesn't tend to dry if something's not dry underneath. So that's the thing about mixed media, is it does take a little bit of time. You have to allow for drying time. Now, granted, I did probably put a lot of water on this, but I think we're almost there. And it doesn't really matter that this is warped, because I'm actually going to glue it to a, I'm going to have a border. So I think it should stay somewhat flat. And when my page is done, I'll likely stick it under a, like a, some heavy books to kind of flatten it out. But that's what happens with mixed media. Warping is just a thing. I think it's good enough. All right. So I'm gonna side. So nobody will walk across it. So what we did for this page is we gutted the center of the, what is this paper called? It's on the back side of it. Oh, it's the teacup paper. And we used quite a bit of this one. So this is your terrific. So what I'm going to do here is try and lay this down, but I'm going to put a lot of adhesive around the edge here. And I may actually even put a piece of cardstock underneath this to kind of secure it. Let's see, how did I want this? I wanted it like this. So it's kind of right, close. It's hard to line it up when it's kind of warped. Do the best we can. All right, now everything's all worked. So what we're gonna do is going to grab some marshmallow cardstock and here. Okay, so I guess I'm going to start lining it up at the bottom here. Oh, Lordy. Not sure where my problem is coming from in terms of getting this to stick down properly. All right, well, that's just about as good as it's going to get today. I have adhesive. Good grief. All right, well, it's just a little warped, but you know what? That's all right. And this is, no, no. So what we're going to do with this one has a bunch of little tiny books. And I have cut these apart, all the pieces anyway. And these are the photos. What we need to do is, where's my bone folder? Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my bone folder and I'm going to fold these in half. Now this was the part that I meant to do yesterday, but you know how that went. Oh, you know what? I do have a laminator. I could totally do that next time. Yeah, I think the problem is that it's still not like 100% dry. So, but I wanted to show that mixed media technique, or just, you know, show you how the Lindy stuff works, because I think it's really cool. And I'll show you guys a bunch more ways to use it as well in the not too distant future. After the first of the year, I want to start doing a mixed media series. So in our Craft and Connect community. So if you guys haven't joined our Craft and Connect community, it's so much fun, and it's not it's like lots and lots of inspiration, super friendly, nice people. But the one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because I just I find Facebook to be really difficult to manage, and when you post stuff there, oftentimes it doesn't get seen, or like somebody will see a project, and once they see it, if they go to look for it again, it's impossible to figure out where it is. You know, their albums aren't very well in our Facebook group. We have albums, but um, it it just doesn't include enough information, you know, about the project in them. There's just no way to be able to do that. And so what we did, This doesn't seem like it's the right size. That looks wrong. That one's wrong. That one's wrong. This one's right. Anyway, what's really nice, and I think that this was like a huge reason that we chose the school platform to do our Craft and Connect community, is that we've got classrooms within our community, but it allows us to put all of our design team projects in one place where it's easy to find. So all of the projects for a single kit are can be found in one folder, and there's photos and the video and also information about the project itself. So it's like all the inspiration is right there. And I think that that's, so these were cut the wrong um, height, but that's all right. I'll go ahead and use them anyway, and then I'll fix it later. But just to show you. Oh, wait, you know what? These skinny ones are my photos. I'll have to make new. No, they're not. No, they're not. Okay, so then we've got, so our little book covers. And you just need to, you could score these if you wanted to, but I'm just folding them and using a bone folder to reinforce the fold. So you've got a bunch of different little book covers, different, and here again, you know, you can add more more photos to your albums, or like for instance, if your book is like this and it opens, you can have, these are like 1 3/4. Is that right? Make sure that I cut them right, because Lord knows. To go back, project sheet number 1, and okay. Yeah, so these are 1 3/4, I believe. Let me take a look here, because yeah, 1.5 by 1 3/4. It's the size of all of the photos. So we're just going to fold all of these in half. And this was the time-consuming part that I meant to do ahead of time. And I'll show you how I was going to attach them together. There's a few different ways you could do this. All the papers in this kit are so pretty. I'm sure that that's giving you a headache from the glare. I'm not sure what your monitor looks like in terms of the color. I have one monitor that looks a bit oversaturated. So if this looks like it's fluorescent, it's not. Okay. So then what you do is you just add your little paper inside. Now there's a couple of ways you can go about attaching them, and I want to, well, let's, okay. You can do it with a staple if you want. And so the staple's just not going to show. So you can do it like that. You can take a paper piercer and open it up and pierce a hole here. This is a better idea to do it this way, but you can take your paper piercer and poke 2 holes, and then you can take a needle and you can thread the needle through and do it that way, and then tie a little knot on the outside. You can simply take some embroidery floss like this and take your paper and run it through the fold here. So I put like 2 of them together, and then just tie a little. It's hard too with this, with the embroidery floss, because it's kind of slick. So if you don't hold the, it's almost like you need a little bit of help. Need an extra set of hands to hold it. There we go. So you can do it like that, and then you just created a little tied binding that way. And it doesn't have to have the strings be quite that long, so you can cut them down just a bit. So they would look like that. The other way you could do it is you could have it like this, for instance, and then you could take some string, and I'll probably take like 2. Double it up, and then you can put, I'll just use this, but you could take a piece of washi tape. This is Post-it tape. It kind of works the same way. But so you can put the washi tape on the back side of your little book, and then you've got your so it's, once it's put together, you can just tie a little Melvin. Swear. You could do it so that it ties here. It's here. And then they're just closed on the edge. And if you tie it in a little bow instead, then you can open them up if you wanted to. So those are some different ways that you can kind of create your little books. You could use your sewing machine too and just zip up the center of them. So without me going through and assembling the books, let's take the covers and create the page itself without the books put together. Because perhaps maybe you don't want the books and you just want to do it this way. So let's, Melvin, for heaven's sakes, stop. You're gonna like strangle yourself. Go. Oh my goodness. Okay. So these I will just leave the way that they are for now. And let's just start putting our book together, or I mean our little, okay, so I am going to start, lay these out. Melvin, no. Nope, don't do that. Okay, so let's just kind of lay these out where they are meant to go. These are photos. So we're going to kind of put them in the place that we want them. You could even stitch around the edges of your little books if you wanted to as well. So that is an option as well. I'm just going to take this out for now. I need a pink, the blue one, the pink one, photo, orange, pink, photo, yellow, black and white, photo, orange, blue, photo, dot, yellow. You've got photo, pink, photo, and orange. Okay, so we've kind of got them lined out the way that they need to be. And we'll have, so what I want to figure out, if I were to take these and have all 6 of them go across the page, right? So what I've got are 6 rows. And I think I'm going to make a, where's my ruler? I just want to kind of gauge what, do a 1/4 inch on either side for my border. So, and then the top one is going to be, so we've got this here, so 1/4 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. I think it's a 1/2 inch that I'm wanting. Yeah, 1/2 inch from the edge on both sides. So here's that. So I'm talking to myself, you guys, sorry. So I'm basically just trying to situate these where I want them to go. So I need to, this one is going to be there, and then there would be a black and white one that would go, actually doesn't matter, but Melvin, where? Here, and then the polka dot one, this side, would go here. So this is going to kind of help me figure out how far between I want these to be. This one. So this way. So there we go. So there. Now, the one thing I will tell you with mixed media background, you have to use some type of liquid adhesive. If you don't, the tape runner just does not stick. All right, so this is where I'm going to start this guy at the top. All right, so he is going to sit right there. And I want to make sure he's straight. All right. Okay. There he goes. Ugh. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and now I want to figure out the spacing as I go down the page. So here we go. These are photos. So I'm going to take and put a bit of adhesive here. This is a photo. He's going to be probably just about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And then I want everything else to kind of fall into place. So, and then I'll put the liquid adhesive. But I think that these need to be pretty close. And the pink one. This is a photo. Maybe I misjudged. This was going to work. Because maybe these need to be closer. I think that they need to be closer together, actually. Practically just a hair apart. Otherwise, we won't be able to fit all the this guy. think that they have to be maybe butted up right almost to the edge. So I think we're going to have to do it like this. Right. Oops, that was not right. This is what I want. Mm-hmm. Right. Put right. Okay, I'm going to put on the photos. Add a little bit of foam adhesive. And I don't want them butted up right next to one another. So if I can get just a tiny bit of space in between, even if it's just a hair, so we can just see a little bit of what's behind it. Did I put liquid glue there? Never knew that geometry would be coming in handy in my scrapbooking days. This one. And then this guy. I'm hoping that the way that I did this is going to make this work. These literally are going to have to be butted up right next to one another. So if you haven't made this page, and I will adjust the instructions, but I would make the border a little narrower. I think that that's what I did here. I think it's actually right on the instructions. I think I just must have made a mistake when I cut mine down. But the way that they are sitting on my this is just making me mad. Oh well. This is how it goes sometimes. All right, so there, that works. I just need a little more foam under the photo. There will be space between them on the other, between the columns, just not the rows. The rows are going to be really quite tight, but that's all right. Okay, so it's nice and straight. Now we get to do all the other pieces. Okay, so then it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to kind of just give a little bit of space in between, maybe like just under 1/4 of an inch, I think. Because then I've got this piece will go here. Yeah, that'll be fine. So just under 1/4 of an inch will work. And so now what I'm going to do is I'll take my ruler, and then we're just going to line these up and put them into place. There's that one. And then we've got space where we're going to put a little embellishment. So we will save that. And some foam here. This is not right. Yep, that's right. Losing my mind. There's that one. And then we've got this guy. And that top one is the one that, or that column that we just did. That was the one that just, it had all the spots filled, so we had to make sure that everything went, or all the rows would fit. These others aren't nearly so tight, so we've got some like space in between, but anyway, it is what it is. Work out just fine. All right, and then we have another photo, and I need a little piece of just want to make sure that we're got these straight. All right. And then where did I just put my, see, I'm losing my mind. Is this okay, so I need a little piece of glue. And this is a perfect example of like what will end up showing after you do your add your stuff onto your page, you know, when you do like a mixed media page like this. So this one, it's just a bit of space there. Right, then we need to add this guy. I'm just going to use my T-square ruler. I just use it as so I build up these columns and everything just kind of aligns so that it's going straight this way. Pink. Then we need a photo. Let's see, am I missing anybody? I know when I start doing this, I have my head down a lot. I'm just doing one. So I'm just, the white booklets just have one folded page on the inside. So for instance, if you wanted to, you could have, so if you had your little book, right? You could have a, see, these are 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 by 3. You could do like a 1.5 by 3-inch photo um, in your little book if you folded it in half, or you could just cut it down the center and line it up. And then that way, when it folds, it won't damage your photo. Or you could have two little kind of thumbnail photos. So you could have extra photos in between each one of the pages. You could have embellishments or journaling or something like that if you wanted to do that. I thought about doing more, and you could probably do more if you had like, if you weren't using cardstock, if you were using like a notebook paper or something like that. So if you wanted to do something like that, you could put more pages in and have it be like a little, like if you were, I think something like this would be great for like travel pages or like travel photos, you know, where you have like a lot of details and stories and stuff like that that go along with your photos. And so yeah, so this type of a page would be awesome for that, especially because you have a ton of pictures. So, and probably not all of them are like great, but this is not the right. I'm missing I'm missing one of my photos. Here, no, you know what? We're just gonna make do. Now we're not. But yeah, this would be an awesome type of a layout for travel or for a big trip. Okay, so this one. Oops. Just a little, put that in place for a second. Then put our pink one. And then we've got a photo on this other side. So if you guys aren't burnt out on scrapbooking with me this evening, we have a live stream virtual crop tomorrow in our Craft and Connect community. It's really fun. We host them every single Saturday from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And we use the school live stream feature. This is just a little off. This isn't quite the right size. Dang it. Anyway, it's we use their live streaming feature, which is cool. It's kind of like Skype. So you actually get to chat with the other people that join us. You can have your camera on or off. It's totally up to you. But yeah, it's fun because it's, you know, obviously not in person, but um, in person virtual. So it's a great way to be able to connect with other scrapbookers and be able to, you know, set aside time, make time for yourself to sit down and do something creative. What did I do here? I started paying not paying attention. Let's see, where am I? I've got pink, white, polka dot, pink. Okay, so this needs to be polka dot, but where is my other polka dot? Where's my other polka dot paper? Actually, I believe that is this it? Nope, that's not it. Hang on one second, because I am losing my mind. No, I'm not. I kind of am. So this guy, I've got to pull up and put this one in its place. Okay. And then this one, this is probably what the bottoms of all of my layouts look like after I've moved stuff around a million times. Yellow, and then got a photo here. So anyway, I lost track of what I was saying, but yeah. So we use the live stream feature on our Craft and Connect community, which is fantastic. What did I do here? I've like totally messed things up. And so anyway, you can join our community and join us on Saturdays. It's fun because not only do you get to kind of chat with other people, but like people from all over the world. We have like a bunch of people from the UK that join us on a regular basis, and you'll start seeing the same familiar faces, which is really really nice. So it's a great way to um, kind of set aside time for yourself to do something that you enjoy, because I think it's really easy to not do that. And I think many of us don't have our local scrapbooking stores that, you know, we used to all find, you know, that was usually the what we would um, do here. Something is just wrong. See, I start talking and then everything goes awry. And that's exactly what has happened here. Hang on. Sorry. This was just, everything went sideways. But yeah, so definitely check it out. And what you do is you just go log in to our community on Saturday mornings, and there's a little notification button at the top of the page, and you just click on that, and you'll see like a little pop-up that will say, do you want to allow your mic or and camera? And you just make sure that you click to enable those, and you're good to go. And like I said, you don't have to have your camera on, but you don't have to be photo ready either. We're all just, how we are. Okay, so pink. Oh my goodness, you guys. See, I shouldn't talk. That one goes there. Then we've got this, then the photo goes here. Goodness. And then the pink book goes here. And honestly, it probably doesn't even really matter that much, but there we go. All right. So here's our little slice of lovely. And now what we need to do is we need to go through our, put all this stuff aside. And let's put some embellishments on this, shall we? And I can add my little booklet things later. Okay, just trying to make clean up some stuff, and then I can actually find what I'm looking for. I don't know how many of you feel that way when you are trying to create stuff, but it seems to be an ongoing struggle for me. Okay, so now we need our little floral die cuts, and they should be right around here somewhere. Here we go. All right, so we need to find a few little flower pieces in here. I think we'll use this guy and this guy. Pink. That one for sure. And then in here, one. I think we need a little leaf here, and I think that there might be a little apple with these. The apple is in here. So 4. There's a little apple, and then is there, here's a little pencil cup here. So I'm going to even though the sticker has adhesive on the back, I really don't trust it to stick and hold. So like this little guy, I'm just going to add a little dimension by folding him on along the crease there. So when I put him down, shorten the stem just a bit. So I'm going to set him here, I think. And then add some foam behind the apple. So with all of the dimension that's happening on this page with all the little books, I think that the little embellishment clusters need to have their own bit of so I'm going to add a little bit more. There we go. Alrighty. And then this guy, some little dots. And we'll just put this here. I'm going to add some adhesive on these. Make sure that I put these about in the right spot. And I think I will likely add some more foam behind these petals because I think that this flower is dainty enough that it's going to have a problem if I don't. Needs just a little. Sorry, I'm trying to get the. See, this is why the little dots are hard for me. My nails are always short because when we pack, my nails are long, they get snagged. Well, cats. Okay, and then I think that there is a little puffy. Fresh start here. And then I think in these, let's see, there we go. So I'm going to put this on this little die cut. And it will be in the center here. And should have a little blue. There we go. And put this guy here. He'll go there. Okay. So then I am just want these to close a little better. So close them so that they're folded a little. All right. Some of them stay a little bit closed. Okay, so there's that. And then we'll just add some of our small bits and pieces. All right. So let's see here. Ink. Double check. Now that there's a yellow. Looking for a little green. The blue one. I'm sure it's here and I'm not seeing it. Let's see. And this and this guy. Put this. So I'm going to put this one here. And then this little photo there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of liquid adhesive on here. So it's a little clip. All right. And then we need, let's see here, the tiny little pieces. There's a pencil. There we go. And I'm going to take my scissors. The nice thing about these, the fun foam too, is that you can make it whatever size you want. So if you need like a very narrow strip, you can make a very narrow strip. And it just fits perfectly. All right. And we'll just kind of have that sit right there. And then let's looking so incredible. I need a little red. the red. I need the red, a little red. Why these are in here. Need a little red alarm clock. There. Oops. I know I have an alarm clock here somewhere. I know I haven't used it. And there it is. Red alarm clock. And does it say get ready? Sorry I'm being so quiet, you guys. We're going to just find something else then. So I need a little pink camera, just right here. And we'll put a little bit of foam behind the alarm clock. So we'll put him here. And then we're going to add this little guy, put a little bit of adhesive there. Then I'm looking for what die cut that says get ready. And I don't know why I can't find it. Stay. All right, well, we're going to choose something else. We're going to have the just do him instead. Lift him up just a little. Here. And then just going to put him right there. So cool. Did I use it? Okay. All right, so there's that guy. And then new clothes, I believe. There is a there's another one. Now you can see what how I'm such a messy scrapbooker. I try to be neat and tidy, and then I'm not. Okay, this little guy is going to sit right here. And then I have my saw in here. And I'll just makes me crazy that I can't find, that I didn't find that little. Okay, so this one says September, and just add a little bit of foam behind him, and make sure that add a little bit here, and then he's going to sit right here. Why that need all thumbs. All right, so there's that guy, and then we've got a little typewriter we're going to put over here. It's going to sit right there, and then it's a little leaf. Cut the stem down, and I'm going to kind of sit him underneath there. I think I'm going to put this little guy some liquid adhesive there. That way he's, and then with the floral stickers, which where did I put them? I want this little green flower, and maybe a little black and white leaf. So I'm going to put him, kind of tuck him underneath. Actually, I think I want to put a little dot underneath him. And gosh, you guys, I can't believe we almost did the third one. And I appreciate those of you that have like stuck with me, because tonight was not for the faint of heart. So this here, and then to take him And I'll just put a little bit of adhesive there. And there he goes. So I think the only other thing that I need is a little green clip, which is probably in our die cuts. But I might just find something else for it because I have so many things sitting around here. All right, so not there, not there. Is there? All right, my friends, there's, I'm blind and I can't locate the, I guess maybe it is this guy here. I wasn't thinking that it was, but all right, let's just find a little, one last piece. And we'll put him, you know what, that's probably not going to work very well, but you know what, it's just going to have to be. Gosh darn it. All right, well, let's see if this works. I might have just destroyed my sticker. Nope, I didn't. There we go. All right, layout number 3 is complete. And I think it's super cute. I think that what I would do probably with these is I would just probably put them on the way that they, figure out how you want to attach your little booklet, whether you want to do it with a stapler or stitching, or I would probably maybe use my sewing machine or do a staple. And then I would probably, for me, I'm thinking that doing something similar to this where you have the string underneath and then you tie it to close it. So, and I think baker's twine might be a good option for that. And then you can keep your little booklets closed. But when you lay them, when you put them in your album, they'll be closed anyway. And then you'll have little photos in these little spots. So we did it. And if you could see my desk, boy, looks almost as bad as my face. All right, so let's take a look at all 3 of the pages that we did tonight. So we did this one, we did this one, and then where is the third one? What did I do with it? Okay, I'm losing my mind, people. Oh, did it fall on the floor? It fell on the floor. And we did this one. So with one kit, three very different pages. And then I will show you really quick before I sign off here, so you can take a peek. This is layout number 1 with our October kit. So that one is, the project sheet for this one is on our website and in our Craft and Connect community. And I really hope that you guys will pop in there and join us. It's lots of fun. We've got some really exciting things happening that we'll be sharing there, and they will be things that you'll only find there. So, and all that information is coming up within the next few days. But it's a big holiday holiday some holiday, really fun holiday projects and some things that you can do with your kids as well. So stay tuned for that. I will give you a little peek also at our November papers. So we're shipping our November kits right now. And if you haven't seen these in person, here are our November papers. Really, really pretty. Oops, I think let me zoom through these a little better. So this one I have to show you really quick because I think it's fun for those of you that like stitching. All the stitching is done for you, so all you have to do is pilot your holes, and how cute is that? It's a little cut apart sheet. So that's really fun. And one more thing. Here are our cardstock, which are really fun. So these are all the colors, but the A side is solid, and then the B side has windows. So how cute would this be? You could cut down the center, or you could cut the windows out and do like a little scene in the windows. But here are all of the colors in that cardstock kit. So these are all shipping now. Oh, I might as well show you these too. There's a little Fair Isle stamp. We've got a music background stamp. And for those of you that love wood grain, we've got a wood grain background stamp as well. And you can do this. It looks harsh when you look at it in black, but you could do it with pink or red or green, purple, you name it. So this would be a really fun thing to add. And then our dies for November. So all of these things are shipping along with all of the embellishments. So if you haven't ordered yours, your November kits, you want to pop on over and grab yours before our weekend or our Black Friday. Well, no, we've got a sale coming up too on. We've got our annual Holly Jolly holiday sale, and that will start on Black Friday and run through Cyber Monday. So lots and lots of things. So you guys, thanks so much for joining me tonight, and thanks for sticking with me. And I hope that you enjoyed the process, although it was quite long. But I hope you enjoyed the layouts that we did. Actually, I think it's pretty good because we did a mixed media layout in here too. So it's now been 4 hours. So hallelujah. All right, you guys, enjoy your weekend. Join me tomorrow in our Craft and Connect community for our Crop and Connect virtual crop. So the link is in the description box. And if you haven't already given the video a like and you've enjoyed tonight's video, please give it a like. I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because that way you get a notification every time we add a new video new video. So thanks, you guys. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye. Yep, that's how it goes.